Howdy. Today we are looking at the Tenet Detron. I'm literally recording this immediately after my other Saryn video. So, you get to see more Detron. So, Detron is an interesting weapon. It is a secondary weapon that you get from Sister of Parvos. It's a shotgun pistol, and it has an alt fire that empties the mag like Pandera, right? Little gunslinger action going on. It has base magnetic damage. Now, before we go any further, if you would subscribe, that would be awesome. Every one sub makes a world of a difference. If you enjoy my content, then please subscribe. That would be awesome. Anyways, back with the schedule program. So, in case you're wondering, this is my Saryn looks like. Literally insanely basic. I've got like nothing on her. She's just super shadowy looking. It reminds me of Noob Saibot, which is why I made her look like this. So, Tenet Detron. This weapon, I have 47.3% electric on it. Oh no, or magnetic. It's radiation damage at base, sorry. I have magnetic on it though. So it has magnetic radiation at base for me. The fire rate is 3.33, 10 multi-shot, 6 magazine, medium accuracy, semi-trigger, 13 to 20 meter or 13 to 22 meter fall off, 18% crit chance, which is kind of terrible. 2 times crit multiplier, 10% stats per projectile, which is actually pretty good for 10 multi-shot. And 26 base radiation damage, which the multi-shot brings it up to a total of 260 base damage. Whoa, sorry, excuse me. So this weapon can get better damage because, well, I mean, I don't have it at 60%. And as far as progenitors go, I don't think magnetic would be the best option here. There's definitely better options, I want to say. I don't know, heat or something. Magnetic is nice, I guess, for another combined elements that won't fuck with your other elements, and it helps with galvanized shot. Galvanized shot is additive on the weapon, by the way, but it is what it is. I guess I probably would like heat. Heat would be great, and then you could build viral heats, and then you could get a huge amount of damage from Cascadia Flare, which would be very nice, but that's not what I've got right now. What makes it so nice is their magnetic shells. Similar to acid shells for Sobek, when you kill an enemy, it makes an explosion, right? Enemies explode on death, dealing 80 magnetic damage. That doesn't really matter. And a plus 40% of the enemy's max HP in a 6-meter radius. Way less than the 15 meters that acid shells has. But in my experience, this has more consistent AoE explosions, like with the line of sight, right? I don't even think this requires line of sight. I could be totally wrong about that. Check the wiki. Could be wrong. But I don't think it requires line of sight. But it definitely feels more consistent than acid shells. So you can make this work the same way with Saryn you can with acid shells. But just like acid shells, you can actually make it work without Saryn. I see a lot of people say you need Saryn for acid shells to be good. Don't even run it on Sobek if you don't have it. And then because of that logic, the same would really apply to the Tenet Detron. But I strongly disagree because you can actually make this and acid shells work. I'm actually going to do another Sobek video specifically about acid shells, but that's not what we're here for today. It has a ribbon dispo too. I think that's rather unfair. Nobody actually uses this thing, let's be honest here. So it would be nice if they could buff it. 3 would be nice, 4 would be optimal, but we'll have to see if it gets buffed in the future. Despite the low crit chance, it is still worth building crits. So we have Creeping Bullseye and Prime Target Cracker here for our crits. Galvanized Diffusion, as always, would be better, but I don't have it maxed, and I like the dodge speed of Amalgam Barrel Diffusion. So now, with the Toxin Radiation Magnetic, the problem is trying to fit all the mods that I would want onto this build, right? Because if we went heat, I suppose... Because the heat wing wouldn't be optimal. You could go Cascadia Flare, take this off, now we're getting flat damage from that. Prime Heated Charge. Oh, what? Oh, because Pistol Pestilence is on. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, now I guess it's fine. So then we put this on. Now we got Heat and Viral, which is nice. And then we get all this flat damage. And I'm actually going to switch to a frame that's not going to affect our damage. So as you can see, nothing's affecting this. So you can see the weapon standing on its own 2 feet to get on or to begin with. On the get-go. I can't speak. Don't worry about it. Now, we obviously need our flat damage to build up. And look, as the stacks apply, it actually does decent damage. The thermatic shells doesn't do shit here because the enemies are armored. But the weapon's damage itself isn't bad. The recoil is actually kind of terrible, though. I would really suggest unlocking the Exilus and putting a recoil mod on if you really like this weapon. It's not necessary, but it would make a big difference. So the weapon's okay on its own. But the real reason we want to use this is thermatic shells. Now the question is, how do we make it not suck? Like, did you see that 145 damage? Yeah, that's depressing. We need it to be more than this. We need it to do big PP damage, preferably one-shotting them. So like many things in the game, armor strip. You will need armor strip. That's just how it works. So you're going to need to do that. Then, you don't need to run viral on this anymore. Instead, you could replace viral. Let us go ahead and put on here. Yeah, for now we'll take that off and that off. Then we are going to put Scorch on. And then the last slot is really up to you. You can run whatever you want. I'm going to put Galvanized Crosshairs on for now. That's probably not optimal, but I feel like putting it on. So we'll be armor stripping with Hildren. Because Pillage is an easy, consistent armor strip that you can put on any Warframe. Then Flesh-type enemies, Viral from Hands of Opophyla. These things combined is going to make it so that we can actually kill these enemies with the thermatic shells. Assuming we have enough viral procs. So we are going to need them to have viral start spreading, right? We will try to go ahead and kill this guy real quick first. I'm not going to strip their armor yet because I don't want them to die immediately yet. There we go. Now look, they all got the viral. Do that. And it did okay damage. Now, unfortunately, there's fall-off damage. So it's at the edge of that. Even though it has 6 meters of range, it's still not going to do the full damage at the end of the 6 meters. Which isn't as noticeable on something like Acid Shells. But look, it does do the AoE damage. I think it is worth using, especially if you group enemies. Enemies are grouped up. So let's say you had grouping. I obviously don't have grouping on Hildren, so we'll make do by having Vazarin. Respawn these enemies. Go back in. We need our Panzer to start spreading his little aids everywhere. Please. You little bastard. Yo. Oh, there we go. There's the guy. I was like, this man is just really bad at his job today, I guess. Yeah, we don't need to kill the stacks up. Alright, pull them all in so they're in the center, okay? Let that run out. Armor strip them. And then if we kill one of these guys, they should pretty much all die. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. So you can make use of it just fine. Armor strip and Panzer is not a lot to ask. I mean, and then grouping, which helps. That's not a lot to ask. There's a lot of frames you can conveniently put that on. And I just really like this weapon. It's really satisfying, right? Look, the way it shoots, it's very juicy. And the alt fire is pretty sexy, too. But then you can go with Saryn, similar to Acid Shells. So we'll be going with this build right here. Roar, because Roar double dips on dots and double dips on the damage from Toxic Lash and triple dips on the Toxic Lash forced procs for Toxin DOTs. Venom Dose doesn't really matter, that just applies corrosive. Spreading corrosive with our spores, right? The typical stuff. And we have double Tau Forge for toxin damage. Or toxic status effect damage. For nearly double the damage, right? 90%. And then 2 more greens for corrosive stacks so we can full strip. And then we do not need Panzer Volpaphyla, but it does help quite a bit to have viral. But I want to show that you don't need it with this build. So now we go in, cast, activate, spread. Beautiful. So, I mean, if you don't want to run Sobek, you want a different weapon than Sobek, this works perfectly fine. Very effective. Or if you like using secondaries, maybe you have a different primary you want to use. This is very strong. Very Giswa. That was without any viral application, right? It'll be even more damage than Panzerbolt Phyla. Now, that's mostly what you can do with the weapon, right? It's kind of hard to do anything else. You can go Corrosive Heat, though. So we will switch back to Mag. Nothing affecting our damage, as you can see. First, no Panzerbolt Phyla. Then I'm going to switch back to this, and we will be doing Corrosive Heat now instead of Viral Heat, which is what we did earlier. Now, either way, it's not hard to get viral. You can go Nourish, you can go Panzer, you can go Diriga, or the other way around is running Viral Heat, and then Armor Strip's not hard to get. That's pretty much necessary in a lot of endgame content anyways. Either way, you're going to want one of those anyways. So it's not asking much, or at least in my opinion. But generally, this is actually going to do much better. So I probably should have shown this at the start of the video, but oh well. And we don't see, we maxed out on green corrosive stacks pretty quick, so green shards would help a lot here for stripping armor. And as the heat kicks in, it starts stripping even more armor. Wow, I missed like most of my shots in that. There we go. Yeah, it is kind of hard to hit this without a negative recoil Exilus. It doesn't help that I suck at the game. But very, very Jusei weapon. And then when you add, oh, I actually have Nourish. I don't need to fucking get Panzer. Panzer would be better than Nourish for viral, especially because it doesn't take into account the weapon's status effects. But either way, you're still going to do big PV damage. We need our heats to kick in, so we build up our Arcane. There we go. It's about to be maxed out. Now look at that. Easy. 3 kills. I'm quite fond of the Tenet. Definitely going to farm out actually another one probably in the next few days so I can get it maxed out to 60%, and I'll probably put heat on it. But we'll see, we'll see. That's going to pretty much do it though for the Tenet. If you liked the video, then, subscribe, that'd be great. Adios.